we're gonna put this to the test and throw it, right? Here we go. Jeez, that's crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is John, and I am going to give you a full review of the things that I love and hate about the Cybertruck. I have a 2024 Foundation Series Cybertruck. This has done about 21,000 miles, and it's been an absolutely insane year with all of the insane stuff that we have done to the Tesla Cybertruck. From checking to see if this thing is bulletproof, to taking it off-roading, to just throwing steel balls at it, to throwing fruit at it, to putting my finger in the middle of the frunk. We have done it all over the past year, and so I'm gonna give you the good and the ugly. I'm gonna give you even some opinions about where I think that Tesla can potentially take this even further and make it even better. But hopefully you will like this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we will see you on the next one. Okay, we are going to start with the improvements. So the first one is, I think, the frunk. I think that they could have done a lot more with the frunk. If you look here, it can hold about 2 regular carry-on luggages in the front. But if you just look at how long the windshield is from here all the way to probably about here, I feel like there's just a lot of wasted space. Obviously, I know that they wanted to get the angle and make it look the way that they did, but I think that there's a lot of space that you could have given to the frunk. And then the other thing that I think could have been better was putting a 110 or 220 in the front. So as we know, we have a couple of the 110s and 220s in the back, but here, you know, just being able to use it out of the front versus the back, you always want to give that optionality, because again, something this small, obviously the utilization rate is going to be a little bit small, but it's one of those things, in my opinion, that could have been done. And potentially, like, more utility could have been given out of the frunk, not only with the outlets, but also to potentially pushing it back a little bit. The other thing that I would probably change about the Cybertruck is actually this A-pillar. So if you get in here, you can see how deep it is, and I'm not a small person, but this is so deep, and having an A-pillar this long, again, if you just look at this over here, I get people stuck in my blind spot. So if I just close the door here, I literally sometimes, just because of how big I am, I have to go over here and look and make sure someone's not there. And obviously I'm assuming that I didn't look, like, you know, if FSD is on and I just decide to take over at some point, I'm gonna have to do that extra look. But for the most part, if you're coming to stop signs or if there's a busy crowd, I have to do that extra look. There's been a couple of times I've had close collisions with people. And so I think that this is something that potentially, even this bar, again, depending on how the design works, I'm not an expert in that. I really wish that they would have potentially removed that, and just really just make it so that people can just see through that, or just give a lot better visibility right there. Okay, so the other thing you may notice here, I don't know if you can see through the back, but long story short, I have no visibility when the tonneau cover is up. And when it's up, you can't see out the back at all. And they obviously have this thing here which allows you to see out the back. But in my opinion, you know, we have this rear view mirror here. It would be amazing if they could actually put some video footage. There's actually been a couple of aftermarket companies who are now putting a camera in the back, and then you can actually get footage. But not being able to see out of it, especially when you look up here, again, it's partially just retraining you, but I really wish that they would have utilized this. Now, again, Tesla is focused on autonomy, and so doing small things like this probably don't make sense when you look at the Cybertruck and then you look at the future of the Cybercab. Those are some other things that obviously Tesla may not do, just because it's a feature that may not make sense. So I've gone over a couple of things that I'm not a big fan of. Of course, the A-pillar, I think more utilization from having power outlets in the front, and then actually shrinking or making the front bigger. And then obviously we went through the A-pillar, and then also to the top camera. I think they could have used that, because when the tonneau cover is up, you can't see. So those are some of the things I don't like, and maybe you're like, oh, you know, that's just a couple of things. But honestly, this truck is truly amazing, and I'm not just out here to shield things, because again, this truck has been the best car I have ever owned, just from a full driving experience. But some of the things that I like, I'm gonna get into. Let me know again what you think. What is your favorite thing about the Cybertruck? But let's get into it. So one of the things I love about the Cybertruck is the fact that my Cybertruck has 4-wheel steering. So I'm gonna show you how this looks. We're gonna get out here, we're gonna get inside the Cybertruck. And again, let's go ahead and close this door. So I'm gonna go ahead and like put this into drive. As I'm turning my wheel, this is turning, you can see the back wheel turning. So what this allows you to do is to have a car that is kind of like a sports car, but this is a truck. As I'm driving a huge truck. It's able to literally feel like it's a sports car or like a Toyota Camry, a small mid-sized car. That is an absolute game changer. The other thing that I love about the Cybertruck is not only the 4-wheel steering, but the steer-by-wire. So this truck is turning. This truck is turning, and it's being controlled by the computer. There are not wires that are linked all the way through to each tire to move it. So some of you have seen my videos that have gone absolutely viral of me essentially shooting the truck with a 9mm and 22. We've also taken pickaxes, we've taken bricks, we've taken pretty much anything you can think of, baseball bats, everything, even not a flamethrower, to the Cybertruck. Shout out to Joe. It was his Cybertruck that we were able to put to the test because, again, we were able to turn lemons into lemonade. But the fact that this truck is bulletproof is absolutely insane. And as you know, if you've been following me along, I love to throw a steel ball at my Cybertruck. It's just crazy what this thing is capable of doing. And so we're gonna have to do that today. So of course, I never go anywhere without my Cybertruck and steel ball. So we're gonna put this to the test and throw it, right? Here we go. Jeez, that's crazy. It's just insane, right? And again, that's just the glass. I've even walked on this whole thing here. You can see how long this thing stretches. I've walked on this whole thing and it's been able to hold me up. There was a time where I think it was like super hot, so like worst case scenario. And what ended up happening is the windshield did crack. But again, that was like the 10th time. So the fact that it can hold 240 pounds and walk, and you're able to walk on it without any issues is just crazy. Okay, so one of the other things that I love about the Cybertruck is the fact that they have this tonneau cover that can hold up to 300 pounds. So if you look here, you can just see this tonneau cover, and I'm gonna stand on it. You can see here, I'm standing on my Tesla Cybertruck on this tonneau cover. It can hold up to 300 pounds. But again, this just feels like it's a vault. That's what just makes this crazy, is that it makes you feel super safe, especially if you put something in the back here. We know that there was that Cybertruck bomber in Las Vegas who put a bomb in the back of this thing. And obviously he didn't know that this thing is literally like a vault. So it actually protected a bunch of people. So this thing is just insanely built. Like, they built this super sturdy and it was built to last. Okay, so one of the other most important things on the Cybertruck that is an absolute game changer is these outlets. They have something, Tesla has something called the power share, where you can actually use this battery to power your house, along with these two 110s and a 220 here. You can actually weld off this thing, along with, on top of that, being able to power your house. So this is like a battery on wheels. I was just at the Chattanooga Charge, and the whole event was powered by the Tesla Cybertruck. So every vendor that needed power was able to fully hook it up to the Tesla Cybertruck. There also was, I think, the Palisade fires, and Tesla provided a bunch of Cybertrucks to essentially help with power as well. So again, it's just super important to have and a great utility. Something else I love about the Cybertruck is just the fact that this is a full 6-foot bed. So on this thing, you can actually have and hold a full 8-foot sheetrock from the front to the back. And obviously you would tie it down. But this is a full 6-by-4 foot bed. And so they've just made it super utilitarian. This bed is bigger than most trucks. So again, especially when you think of double caddies and some of the other things. And the metrics are pretty insane. I mean, it's 11,000 pounds towing capacity and a 2,500 pound payload, which is crazy. Other thing that they don't mention is this extra storage down here. Again, you can tailgate with your buddies, and there's even a drain down here. You can see this right here. I can take that off and drain all of the water out. Obviously you can see I'm not really using it to its full capacity, but this allows you to keep some beer cool, or even some meats. Maybe you're gonna go camping, but you know, it really allows you to do a lot of truck things. So one of the other things that I love about the Cybertruck is the fact that it gets better with every single update. They released off-road mode via a software update, and here you can get full off-roading capabilities, whether it's off-road mode, surface, stopping mode, lock differentials. You can even change the ride height. So we're gonna go to extract mode, rear steer as well. Wade is for if you're gonna go through some water. But the truth is, you can see that this should be able to go all the way up to, I think, roughly about 17 inches of ground clearance. So if you look here, you can see just how high this thing is getting. I mean, look at that. Like, I could literally stick my whole hand in here. And it looks just like an absolute beast as you take it through water, and as it's able to handle things as it goes over. And you can, and what's crazy too is this is an electric vehicle, so regular gas cars can't go through these insane amount of water, because obviously as more water enters the cabin or enters the engine, it'll shut down. But the fact that this can go through up 17 inches, you can see the craziness. But off-road mode is an absolute life hack. So one of the other things is especially if you have kids, is going to be this back screen. This really does allow you to get a full experience with your kids. They can be back here and watch all the shows, listen to some music, play some games, adjust the screens, add some Bluetooth. But when you're on long road trips or just driving around town, the back screen is an absolute game changer. One of the other cool things too, really just kind of by design with the Tesla Cybertruck, and really all Teslas, is just what you can see, the panoramic views all the way around, the unobstructed views of the sky. And they really did a good job with the tint to keep a lot of that heat out. But again, this is one of the signature things about the Cybertruck. And then I think lastly, honestly, the design is just crazy. Elon and Tesla, Franz and even Lars, they took an insane dream and made it a reality. I mean, this looks like it's straight out of Blade Runner. It's not for everybody, but honestly, the full driving experience of the Cybertruck, it's the best Tesla on the road and the best driving experience. And what's crazy too is the fact that this is a full-size truck. I have some BF Goodrich KO2s on my Cybertruck, and it does not drive like a Raptor. It does not drive like an F-150. It drives like a luxury vehicle, better than my Model X. You don't hear a lot of the stuff coming in through the cabin just because of how quiet it is with the acoustic glass and the armor glass. So those are like really all of the things that I love about the Cybertruck. There's a couple of things like the folding seats up and a bunch of stuff that I could get into. But I think, so those are the things that I love about it. There's some other stuff, obviously, that I think, you know, there have been several issues with the car, specifically with service, like the inverter, the front motor, and some of the front and back motor had to be replaced. You know, the recall specifically on the pedal, it had to be screwed in. I mean, that could have been dangerous, but it really wasn't a big thing. And a lot of the other recalls have been because of, you know, software updates that could be fixed. Similar things with like the panels. I think I've seen some people with that. I personally, it's not anything that I've really had to deal with. So I think a lot of those things were taken care of very quickly. I was in and out, especially as the product started to ramp. A lot of these issues were very simple to deal with. And Tesla makes the whole experience super simple to go and get a spot in line. So again, you know, I think all of the cons about the car, and again, you saw maybe 3 or 4 things that I listed. And this, you saw, I could go on all day about how this truck is amazing. And one thing I actually forgot, I did not even mention the fact that this car can drive itself. I mean, this is going to be literally my robo-taxi, where it's going to be able to drive itself. If I want to go anywhere, like all my drives, I'm driving 2.5 hours a couple times a week to work, and this thing literally drives me everywhere. And that's what makes it a Tesla. It's a robot on wheels. And again, I've gone through a lot of things that I like about it. Let me know what you personally think. If there's other things that maybe I missed. And again, I do think that, especially with the Foundation series, there were a couple of things that happened that needed some extra maintenance. But a lot of that stuff happens, and of course, because it's a Tesla, everybody and their mom is talking about it. But you should definitely go test drive one, and you make the verdict. You decide. But thank you again for tuning in to Tesla Owners of Silicon Valley. Hopefully you enjoyed this little review. But I've done about 21,000 miles in the first like 14 months, and it's been an absolutely amazing experience.